Hello, this is Jordan Simpson, and you're listening to the Queens Bros podcast. Let's go Mets.
That's the ball, baby.
Oh, that's
Know your role and shut your mouth, you jabroni.
We're not going to draw a line between a guy that was hitting before World War One and a guy that was hitting now.
I was hoping for Aaron Rodgers.
Great Tom Seaver.
Is Brett Beatty or Mark Viento's going to step up?
You're the Mets!
Bro, Jeter's overrated. I'll just say it for you. Jeter's overrated.
Hey, what's up, guys? Welcome back to another episode of Queens Bros, and we have a very special guest today, my guy Jordan Simpson. What's going on, bro?
How are you guys? Thanks for having me.
What's going
How's
on?
everything, man?
Man, feels good. Just glad to have baseball back. So
Yes, for sure.
So, I want to apologize about something real quick. Yesterday, I know you saw it. So my brother's actually the one that contacted you, my brother. And yesterday I sent a post out with Jingle Man, right? That's what they call him.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah, and so he sent me back saying, "Hey, you posted a picture of Jingle Man," and I felt horrible because my brother's actually the one that put me onto you. So when I saw that, I was like, "Oh no! Like, oh my god! I can't believe I posted the wrong." I don't know if you saw that, Nick. I posted the wrong person. And I want to apologize because my brother, like I told you, he's the one that put me on and was like, "Hey, I contacted Jordan Simpson." And I didn't know much about you. And I'm very glad that he contacted me to tell me about you because that's when I started researching all your stuff. And the content you put out, bro, is amazing. It really is.
Yeah, no, for sure, yo.
Yeah, it's absolutely amazing. And like I said, now I followed on all my accounts. I followed your page and your stuff is really, really dope, really, really amazing. And the music you put out, man, is so great. And I actually saw that yesterday, Brandon Nimmo. I don't know if it was him or his wife. I know there was a post with him and his wife. I don't know who posted it, but they used your song from Meet the Mets, which is like, how does that feel to see that, somebody that you're watching, on your team posts with your song on his video, on his picture?
Yeah, that was wild. I saw it this morning because somebody sent it to me, and I was like, "Wait, what?" And then I opened my phone on Instagram, and that was the first post that just came up. I see like Brandon Nimmo, Chelsea Nimmo, and I see Jordan Simpson underneath, and I'm like, "Wait, what just happened?" It was pretty bizarre, but it was cool. Like you don't think about it, but like to kind of just see it in that, like whether it was Brandon or whether it was his wife, either way, it's like they used my song. I'm like, wow, that's pretty cool. So,
bro, that's awesome. That is so cool. Like if that was me, I would have been like going nuts. And I could only imagine how that feels to just wake up and see that Nimmo is used. And I saw the comments too, and there were people that were tagging you like, "Yo, they're using your song." I saw that
really
too.
Cool, yeah.
That's awesome, bro. So when did you start writing music?
Man, I started writing actually when I was in high school, but like when I was even in elementary school, like I just always loved the idea of like putting stuff together. Like there's a bass line, there's a drum groove, and how everything works together to make a song. Like my dad, he wrote music, he still does, but like for me, I would always hear him work on music, whether it was him or with his band, and just to be able to hear each individual element. And I just loved like just the process of like, that's this, and they're doing separate things, but together it just works so well together. So like as I got older, got more into production, got more into, just started with GarageBand, which is the most basic software to use.
Nice.
Started using that, and really I just fell in love with the process, and ever since then I've been just writing, and I love it.
That's awesome,
man. Dude. That's awesome. How long does it usually take you to, like, when you're like coming up with a song, right? Whatever it is, whether it's, because I know that you also have a new song out where it's like a cover upbeat song of Perfect from Ed Sheeran. I also saw that because, like I said, once my brother put me on, I was all out searching you up, bro. I was searching up everything. And I saw that, you came out with a cover. So when you come up with like a song, right? Or whether it's a song for, the Mets or baseball, because I know you guys came up with a song for the jerseys as well. I was looking at all the stuff. How long does it usually take you to come up with like a song? Like how long does it usually take to, to like come up with something.
Yeah, I mean, I think there's like the difference between like coming up with something and then actually like putting it together. Because I think you can come up with something pretty quickly, but then you have to then execute it, like record everything, kind of like piece everything together. But it varies. If it's like a song, then it could be like I've
Yeah,
written
no
songs that have
doubt.
taken me,
That's great, man. Because actually, music is a big love of mine.
yeah, yeah.
Oh, I don't know what just happened.
Yeah,
It felt like you got just cut off, and I thought you stopped talking. So,
Oh, you're good.
yeah,
yeah.
you
Some of
got
the
cut off for a second. Yeah, my bad.
some of the
Don't make it
songs,
seem like yeah. All right, go ahead,
You're
Nick.
fine.
yeah, some of the songs you come out with are so good, and I feel like you come out with them so quickly. Like the Deekman one was like it came out fairly quick, and like
Yeah.
it's impressive how quick you guys come up with these songs.
It's always fun. Like it's a fun challenge for us because you want to be on top of it. You don't want to like have something happen and then like 2 days later, oh, by the way, like you want to be within that kind of that news cycle of like they got Deekman, they got Fujinami, they got Bader. Like you want to be within that relative time frame so that it's still like an active thought. Because like when the news breaks, people react, and then you'll have like the discourse after the fact, and so you'll have fans and like baseball night in New York is at 6, so if something breaks at 12, at least they're talking about it into the
Yeah,
evening. So you still have that kind of that bit of a window where it's still relevant, but you kind of it's like we get the idea and then we're going back and forth. Like, okay, idea do you have? What idea do I have? We kind of piece it together and then we just go at it as fast as we can.
That's actually really impressive because that's tough, man. Because
It is.
news breaks like that. Like once news breaks, it's like it comes and goes in a matter of a day or two. You know what I mean? So to be able to
Right.
come up with something that quick, that's really impressive. Really impressive. So you and Jingle Man, you guys like obviously collab. You work together a lot,
Mm-hmm.
right? It's funny. I actually saw, like I said, like after my brother put me on, I was researching your stuff. I actually saw that you're cool with the Amazing Met Zone as well.
Oh yeah, yeah,
They were actually my last guest I had on my podcast.
yeah. It's awesome. They're
Yeah,
great.
they're great people. Great
Yeah.
people. Yeah, they were so chill. Like I had them on the show. They were like, because I'm a new content creator and a new
Mm-hmm.
podcaster, and they were just like, yo, anything you need us to help, anything you need from
yeah,
us, we will help you. We'll help put you on. We'll help you know get you to talk to people, and they were just so cool, kind of like leading me the way, kind of like guiding me because they've been doing this for a while and such chill people. So that's why when I saw that, and this is after we got you on the show, I saw that you're cool with them, and I just thought that was awesome as well.
Yeah,
yeah.
they're great people. They just actually they had a little boy like two
Yeah,
years ago, which is
yeah. Roy,
incredible.
he just had a boy. Yeah, that was awesome. That was
Happy
awesome.
for them for sure.
Yeah, actually, it's funny. The day that I did my podcast with Amazing Med Zone, his
Mm-hmm.
wife was due any moment. Like I'm talking like her water could have broke that moment, and
Yeah.
he was in the messages because he wasn't sure if he was going to be able to come on because his wife was about to give birth. And then he ended up coming on. He was like, "Hey, what's up, guys? Yeah, we're good right now. Like everything's chill." And then the baby was born the next morning. Yeah, but that's great. Great people, and yeah, awesome. So let's talk a little bit about baseball. How you feel about the Mets this year?
I like the fact that there aren't high expectations. Like personally, I'm pretty. I feel like the past couple of years, and like given the off seasons too, when you've gotten, I mean, Senga, Scherzer, Verlander, you got on the list. You have Nimmo, you have Diaz, and you had Marte, Escobar. Like you had all these off seasons where you've signed so many people of high quality, and then you have this off season where it's kind of like not that. But to have it where you can tell the intentionality between like of these moves, where the team is just a lot deeper. Where I just feel better. Where you don't look at the lineup and you're like, okay, that's going to beat the Braves. Like, no, the Braves are the Braves. But you still feel like, okay, if somebody goes down, at least you're not like stranded. It's not like you have somebody who's just going to be a lost at bat, or you have now prospects, be it pitching or defensively or hitting, where they can actually come up and not just like a prospect who, oh well, why not? Like, no, these are guys that actually have some decent upside, which is something that we haven't been able to say for a pretty long time, to have multiple prospects where it's not just like, oh yeah, it's that Alvarez kid or Andres Jimenez or Ahmed Rosario. Like, no, we have multiple prospects who are knocking on the door on both ends. But I mean, I'm excited. I'm always excited for a new season. I feel like it's just a new beginning. And if Mets fans, we know more than anyone, anything can happen in the season. Like expectations are one thing, but like what happens happens. Anything can happen. So I'm not gonna be somebody who's like, oh, the season, it is what it is. No, we'll see you in 25. Like, no, like there's a full season ahead of us. It hasn't started. I'm not gonna doubt a season that hasn't begun. So I'm just ready for the season to start at this point.
That's a fact. That's such a fact. I had my expectations before Senga getting hurt. I would say was obviously better. Obviously you're going to be better when your best pitcher gets hurt. Before your best pitcher gets hurt. But I had the Mets like sneaking in, a third wild card spot because half the league makes the playoffs now with all these wild cards. So I had us sneaking in, but now I don't know what's going to happen because this pitching staff is really scary to me. But you are thinking the way I hope many Met fans are thinking out there is that, yes, Steve has a plan. This isn't the past with the Wilpons. The Wilpons there was no plan with the Wilpons. They just did whatever they want. They didn't spend. They just went and got older and older. And if something didn't work, it didn't matter. They just kept doing to what they wanted to do. And there was literally no plan with them. Steve has a plan, and we all know that as Met fans. He has a plan that he's going to do good by us. And I really believe that next year, Steve is going to go off in the offseason because obviously he didn't do anything this offseason. And you know who didn't do anything last offseason? The Dodgers. And what did the Dodgers do this offseason? Probably the best offseason I've ever seen in my life as a fan.
Everything.
Dude, like this offseason, I call it the LA Dodgers offseason. They got everybody, and
Yeah.
and then people forget about Glass now. They also got Glass now, but that is if the Mets got Glass now, I would have been going crazy to be honest, because I think Glass now is still an
I love
awesome
Glass
ball
now.
player.
Well, he's
Yeah,
he's made of glass, but when healthy, he's really.
yeah, but he's still a great ball player, and
Yeah.
you forget that they even got him because of the other two that they got. Like it's crazy. But back to my point, last year the Dodgers did nothing, and then this year they went off. So I really believe that next year Steve is going to do big things for us in that offseason, whether he's going to go out and spend all his money on Soto or whatever he's going to do. But I really believe he has a vision of letting these kids come up by next year and also spending a little bit on the right pieces to try to plug in to put a winning product on the field. But I trust the man, and I believe there's a plan in place for us. And like you said, 100%, we're going to be there. We're going to be cheering the team on. And it's weird because I feel like I have more. I don't know why, because we were coming off a 101 win season, and maybe it's just me being biased that we're just about to start a new year and I just cannot wait. But I feel like I'm more excited than last year. And I don't know why. That's weird. Because last year we were coming off a 101 win season. We were in the playoffs. And I don't know. I'm just so excited right now, and I can't wait for the season to start.
Yeah, it's gonna be a lot of fun. I think the most underrated thing that people are saying is that the Mets can't compete. I think they have a really good team, and obviously their pitching is lacking. I mean, you know, before Senga got hurt, he was our ace, and you have Severino. I think Severino could have a really good year if healthy. I think he could have a really good year. The hitting is the hitting. I think the hitting is good. We have Lindor. I think Beatty hopefully could finally come around. I think Alvarez is gonna have a monster year. I think Alonso is gonna have an insane year. Nimmo's great. I think we are good. We have Edwin Diaz back. It's gonna be a fun year. And what's funny is I'm the type of fan that we could be 8 games out in August. I'll be like, there's still a chance. There's still a chance.
I'm the same way.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
No,
I'm
definitely.
the same way. I'm like 8.5 out by August. It's fine. We're
That's why
good.
September.
September, yeah. I'll still be watching every game. So
Well, I remember
it's gonna be fun.
eight's not too far off, but I remember 2016. I was in San Francisco watching the Giants versus Mets, and we were 5.5 out on August 20. 5.5 out in 2016, And I kept telling my boy, I was like, I don't know, man. Like, I just feel like we're gonna make a comeback. I just feel it. I feel it. My boy's like, you're out of your mind, dude. We ain't coming back. Come on, bro. You know, as a Met fan, we ain't coming back. If we were up 5.5, we might choke, but we ain't coming back. I'm like, nah, I feel like we're gonna come back. And then just it was like takeoff from that moment. Takeoff, and obviously we made the playoffs, and then we lost to the Giants, and the same team I was watching in San Francisco. We lost them in the wild card game, but there's always that possibility. So I never
Yeah.
put us out. I never put us out. There's always that inch that you might be able to come back.
Yeah, we'll see. Hopefully, we were good this year.
You
Are
you
deeper at least. That's a good thing. So
yeah.
I
Have
do
you been
hope so.
checking out the spring training games at all?
Yeah, I was there on the opening day of spring training, which was fun.
Oh, you
Oh,
were in Port
nice.
St. Lucie.
Yeah, so that was a lot of
Oh,
fun.
sick.
But I mean, I've been watching because it's fun to be able to just see everyone. Because during the season, you'll hear about like, oh, look at this guy, look about that guy in the minor leagues. But like now, you can at least put a name to the player. You can kind of like see who they are. It's like if they say, oh, Bannon, who's been playing a few games in spring training so far, that at least like you kind of can associate it, or at least to see like Christian Scott or Mike Vassell, Blade Tidwell in spring training games, to at least watch them
Yeah, no, for
actually pitch instead of just hearing about them dominating. At least you can just see it. So I think it's fun to be able to see them in actual game action and against major league players. Tidwell strike out Jordan Walker,
yeah,
Nolan Arenado, Nolan Gorman, who are three major league hitters. So it's fun to be able to see them go up against that high competition and then carry that into AAA, and hopefully we'll see them soon.
yeah, no, for sure.
Agreed.
What do you think of the prospects like Acuna and Gilbert and Williams? You think they're going to be good in the major league level?
I'm so excited about them. Everything I've heard about Jet, like Jet is
The
the
best.
real deal.
The best. See,
Like
this is my favorite
everything I've
one.
heard, he's like, and Gilbert and Acuna have incredible upside and great value for sure. But when it comes to Jet Williams, for one, his speed, which is unreal, but he gets on base, he has power, and he can play basically anywhere. Like he can play outfield if you need him to.
Yeah,
Short, obviously, is occupied, but he can play second. Like he's the kind of guy that you just want in your lineup, and he has some pop too. So like to have a guy like that who gets on base, and when he gets on first, it's like okay, he's going to be on second any second. Like that's to have that kind of a weapon in your lineup. Like Nimmo gets on base a ton, but he doesn't steal that much. So to
yeah.
have a guy who gets on, can steal, plays great defense, and is just all around like everybody
Five
from what I've
tool.
heard, like he has that respect in camp of like, yo, this kid is like the real deal. So I'm excited about him.
Yeah, he's my most how do I put this? Probably my most highest praise guy for me.
Mm-hmm.
I love everything I see from Jet. I think he looks like an absolute beast. The contact off the bat just looks like every time he hits it, it's just a scorch. He's quick.
Mm-hmm.
He plays defense. He's just your typical 5-tool player,
Yeah.
And I
I
can't
think
I can't wait
Gilbert's
for
going to
him.
be Gilbert and him are like 1A, 1B for me. They're both I think going to be phenomenal ball players.
Gilbert has a nice lefty swing, man. Beautiful lefty
Yeah.
swing. I still don't know what to feel about Acuna yet. I don't know what to feel about him yet. Because the only thing I'm really hyped about is he has that name, and I'm hoping he comes up. He's not going to be obviously like his brother, but I'm hoping he performs well for us. I just don't know what to think of him yet because I really didn't care for his numbers too much in spring training, and he had one game this year where I was watching where he did really well. I think he had like 2 hits, stole a base, but
Mm-hmm.
I'm not sold on him yet. But
I
at the
think.
end of the day, to be honest, as a Met fan, we know that I I don't know how to put this either. I feel like I don't like trying to judge any prospects, even though like we were talking about Jet, we think he's going to be great because I've seen too many prospects that we thought were going to be great
F
completely
Mart,
fold.
F
Oh,
Mart, Lasting Village.
Lastings
complete.
Village, my
Yeah,
goodness.
Lastings.
Although
Everybody forgets about my boy Lastings, bro.
let me tell you something,
Yo.
Lastings bat speed was incredible. I just think I don't even know what the issue with him was, man. He was so good. He had the talent. It was so weird.
You just
Just
you never know with these guys either, and then even some of the
Yeah.
guys who aren't even the prospects, end up. I mean, Degrom was never like, oh, Jacob Degrom making a start from the minors this spring training. Let's see what he has. And he became the best pitcher in all of baseball. It's like he was kind of on nobody's radar, and
Yeah,
then he
yeah.
just popped off. Even said
That's
like
Nick,
the
tell
incredible.
him.
the last two round.
Nick,
So
tell him.
the year Degrom got called up, that spring training, I go to my brother. I'm like, oh,
Wait, hold on. So Rafael Montero, obviously, he was with the Astros, killed it for them in the playoffs. He was a high prospect for us. Huge prospect. Again, like I told you about these high prospects. All right, now go ahead. Tell him.
Yeah. There a report came out saying that Degrom is battling for the 5th spot in the rotation. My brother's like, yo, if Degrom gets the 5th spot, I'm not watching a game this year. He goes to me.
Yeah, yo, at the end of the season, bro, I hate those words. Yeah,
Incredible.
that was such a and that goes to show you how I don't know shit, bro.
You never know.
I don't.
You never know.
You never know. Because, in all honesty, I've never seen anything from the kid, and I didn't know anything about him. Like, I knew nothing about him. I just keep hearing about Rafael Montero. So I'm like, look, man, I've seen too many of these no-names coming for the Mets and just suck. So just give Montero a shot. Forget about anybody else that they're mentioning. And then DeGrom turned out to be the best pitcher I've probably ever seen in my lifetime when healthy. So you never know.
What do you think? What do you think of Brett Beatty? You think you think this is like a make it or break it year for him?
I'm a big Brett Beatty guy. I love the prospects, the three of them, like Beatty, Vientos, and Alvarez. Mauricio too, obviously, but he's hurt.
Yeah.
But I feel like Beatty is the kind of guy that he just has to get on a hot streak. That's really all he needs, just from a mental perspective. Because each time, like in AAA, he just goes off. It's too easy for him.
Yeah.
He struggles at the major league level. He goes back down, starts killing it again. I think there's like a mental side of it too that he was struggling with last year, where it wasn't, the pitching obviously is a whole lot different because you're facing like the top guys. So I feel like for him, defensively, he's been looking pretty good. I mean, he has a strong arm. Like that's kind of like an underrated thing about him. Like his arm is actually like really, really strong. But I think his bat really does have the potential to be just a consistent. Like I've always heard the comps of like him and Conforto in the sense of like a very consistent swing that can hit to all fields, but also have some pop in there too. And he could be a guy. I mean, I'm not expecting to say like, oh, he's gonna hit 25, 30 bombs, but he could if he's like on it. But it's hard to say. This is his chance. I feel like if he has the mindset of, if the first week of the season I go, I don't know, 3 for 24 with 6 strikeouts, that is not the end of the world. Like you're not going to be just like demoted because it's, you still have more of a leash to have that kind of comfort.
Yeah.
I just feel like for even like Vientos too, just to have enough of a leash where you kind of don't have that pressure that you're putting on yourself and just playing. Because I think once you kind of eliminate the pressure side of it and they just do their thing, it's worked every single level. Obviously, the major leagues are the major leagues, but to kind of let loose and just be like, you know what? I'm here. This is my job right now. I'm here for a reason, so I'm just going to go at it. I think they have the potential to have big years for both of them.
Yeah, for sure.
Well, in my opinion, that would be huge. Like I keep saying, if Beatty, Alvarez, and Vientos do their thing, Alvarez, I think he is. I think Alvarez is going to have a great year. But Beatty and Vientos especially, if they have great years, that's going to be everything for the Mets this year. And if that happens, I believe we'll go into the playoffs. If those guys have big years. Because, those are holes that didn't really perform last year. Obviously, Beatty was terrible last year. He had such a down year last year. If they perform, because I think Marte was hurt, I think we're going to see big things from Marte just like he did in 2022 this year. McNeil, have you seen the trend with McNeil where he's like good, bad, good, bad, good, bad? He has like this trend where he's like good and bad, good and bad. So I'm hoping this is going to be one of McNeil's up years, because that's another guy that just was so bad last year for us. Like he didn't contribute anything. And that's everything. Like we need McNeil to perform. All these guys that performed in 2022 didn't last year. We didn't really have a different team last year. It was the same exact guys. Instead we added Verlander at the beginning of the season. It was the same exact team. It was just
Scherzer wasn't good for us. Verlander was hurt for a lot of it. It just
It
went,
was
it
just
went to
that,
beginning.
yeah, they just didn't perform last year. That was it.
I think we
So
forget that too, that they underperformed. That's
yeah,
a big thing. Like, they just straight up underperformed, and that's a big part of the downfall of last year. Is that when, I mean, then they put pressure on themselves too. When if Pete's not hitting, and then McNeil's trying to move the guys over, and Pete gets hurt, and then he comes back in 10 days when we were told 3 weeks initially, so he's still swinging while hurt. So now he's stuck underneath the ball and he's not driving it. But now it's there are holes in the lineup because prospects are coming up, and then all of that stuff. So there was just a domino effect between the underperformance
Yeah.
and then trying too hard, all of that stuff. And I feel like that's why Marte Loki is probably like the biggest X factor in the lineup, because when he came out in 22, things went down very, very quickly. So when he's in there, it just takes off a lot of pressure in the top of the order, wherever you put him, whether it's 2, 3, 6, anywhere in the lineup, but he just keeps the line moving. Where now you have Nimmo, say leadoff, Marte, Lindor, Alonso. Like, Marte gets on base, so now you have almost an automatic RBI spot most times for Lindor and Alonso, because one of Nimmo or Marte are going to get on base. I mean, a decent amount of the time. Lindor and Alonso, however you want to shape it, but just their presence and their abilities to be able to get on, to be able to just keep things going, to now also not have it where I can pitch around so and so to get to somebody else. Like, you don't have it where you have to pitch around. Oh, I can pitch around Pete so I can get to Vientos who's struggling. Whereas you can have somebody beyond Vientos, whether it's McNeil or Marte even, where you can't say, oh, I can take it easy on this guy. So now they get pitches to hit. So now you're in spots where Beatty and Vientos are actually getting pitches in the zone that they can actually hit, because
Yeah.
they're not going to be, you know what I mean? Like, now they're going to have to be like, okay, well, I have to now pitch to these guys. Like, it's all a
it's a
domino
fact.
effect. So
Yeah, all goes hand in
Yeah, for
hand.
sure.
You know.
Yeah, let's not forget.
Yeah, go ahead.
And I'm not saying this is the sole reason why we didn't do good last year, but I believe that the Edwin Diaz injury sucked the life out of the Mets. Like, before the season even started, that injury destroyed the Mets. I really believe that played a big factor in the Mets not doing good, because he's a big part of the Mets. I mean, he's a really big part. And I think that was a big part of the reason why we didn't win. Yeah.
it was a ton. I mean, everything, because he goes down, so everybody moves down in the bullpen. But then what was
Yep.
also happening is you had Quintana down, and then Scherzer down, and Verlander missed the beginning of the season. So
Yeah.
starting pitchers are not going deep into games, which means that the bullpen's coming in earlier, but you don't have the back end, so you're down one more elite guy. So very early in the season, your bullpen's getting taxed day in and day out with no end in sight. Where you have Denny Reyes starting a game against the Braves in May. So the Mets.
Oh, he was at that
starting
game. He was
pitchers
at that
in
game.
May. It's like,
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
unbelievable. That's the thing. It was crazy to me how you had a season where you used 10 starting pitchers by the time you were in May. 10 different starting pitchers. by the
Yeah, I
time
was
you were in
there. I was there with my students. We went to the game. It was Strider versus Denny Reyes. I was like, I go to my students. I'm like, they go, Mister, you think the Mets are gonna win? I'm like, based off of the pitching matchup, hell no. And then we actually hit Strider, but Denny Reyes gave up like 7 runs in the first inning. So that
That's
was
the
that.
thing that I hope. That's why I kind of want Stearns to go out and get maybe like a Lorenzen, another depth piece, so we don't have people like Denny Reyes versus the Braves. You know what I mean?
I think it's a lot better, at least because depending on how things shake out now, depending on like who's in the rotation and whatnot, you'll probably have that be Lucchese, who's better than Reyes or
For sure.
Guzzo. But I don't think anybody's going to complain if you add just another guy that is a major league caliber guy and not a Jared Eichhoff day. You know those days where he was Jared Eichhoff. Oh, hey,
Yeah.
can you pitch just to be a body so we can actually play a baseball game? And then he gives up 10 runs. So, it's I feel better just in terms of the depth of not having to have that happen. I mean, knock on wood. I just hope that doesn't happen too early in the season where you're tested.
Of course.
But also, I think it was tough and it plays into it, where you had 2 games where Spencer Strider started, and you score a total of 7 runs and then 12 runs, and you lose both of those games.
Yep.
Which kind of shows you bigger picture because then the offense was hitting. even when Marte wasn't healthy, when you had certain guys out, like they were still doing pretty well. But it
Yeah.
shows you that the bullpen, which I think is much better than it has been.
I think it's really underrated, the bullpen. I think the bullpen's going to be really good.
Because if Jorge Lopez is back to where he was, that's a game changer. Fujinami at least just throws strikes. I mean, those are two
See,
guys
I
you
think
give
that's the
Ottavino
most
to.
underrated move in the Mets bullpen. I think Fujinami, I think he's going to have an excellent year.
Yeah,
If Hefner could teach him how to throw strikes, he throws 100 miles per hour. Like,
that's the thing with a
every
guy like
at-bat he was a
Fujinami.
strike.
That's the thing with a guy like Fujinami because you can't teach velocity. You can't teach a guy to throw 101, 102, but you can teach control. So I'm hoping Hefner could do his job and, you know, teach him how to get some command because that's what he needs. If he gets command, the guy will be lights out.
Because if you're down 2 strikes, forget it. Because he can throw
Yeah.
103 passes, he can throw a splitter. That's like at 95 miles an hour, which is absurd. So it's like to have that coming out of your bullpen when you didn't have a single pitch last year above 98 miles an hour, which is very sad. You didn't have that all year last year.
That is crazy.
So when you put that into perspective, now you have Diaz back, who that's taken care of. You know, Diekman throws upper 90s, not that hard, but then you have Jorge Lopez who throws up there, and Fujinami who can run it up there, which is just a different look in the bullpen as a whole that I feel like to have it not just be, okay, Edwin Diaz and Ottavino, which I love Ottavino, but like to have somebody else be within that realm who can be that shutdown dominant guy where you can say, hey, let's have Ottavino come in the sixth because there's a tight spot where we just need him to get a strikeout, and we like this matchup here to have that ability. Where even before in 22, where Diaz would come in the eighth inning because you had Mookie Betts, Trey Turner, Freddie Freeman coming up in that one inning where the bases are loaded, to have your best guy come out and to not feel, okay, now we burned a guy who we were going to go to. Where now you have a couple guys with closer experience back there where you're not like, okay, you know, like now you feel better about it. So,
Yeah, no, for sure.
yeah, I feel good with what David Stearns has been doing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Me too.
Yeah, and you see him getting a lot of hate, right? You see that? Do you see that? Because I see it a lot, and I don't understand why. I don't understand what some of these people want him to do, but he's getting a
Look,
lot of hate on Twitter.
It wasn't a sexy offseason. I mean, there's no secret. You know, it wasn't like we didn't get any stars, but he came, he knew it. Cohen told him what he wanted, and they're trying to execute a plan. They have all this dead money on the books. As much money as Cohen has, he can't just spend it. He can't just spend like crazy. He can't go out and get Montgomery and Snell and Otani and Yao. It's just not going to happen. So I think they're going to wait until that dead money gets off the books. Next year, you have Fried, you have Burns, you have Soto potentially. A lot more sexier names next year than there are this year. So they try to get 1 year deal. Severino's a good move. Harrison Bader, and we'll see what happens. You know.
I mean, I love
That's
that.
what I believe it is. It's just that there wasn't anybody available really that we want or
And we
that
tried
is.
for Yamamoto. We tried for Yamamoto. It just didn't work out.
We did
There was
everything.
only two guys this offseason that you could really say to yourself, like, all right, we really, really want these guys. Everybody else is just desperation moves, in my opinion.
I mean, I think just the moves that were made, as you said, like, it wasn't anything that caught your attention really, but like at the same time, they're kind of moves that had to happen because
Yeah.
depth. We've had the star power before, and we still do have decent star power, but like we've gone for the star power look and that kind of feel. But when one guy goes down, what does that do for your team? We've seen that kind of just take a hit. Whereas it's almost kind of like it's like if you're given X amount of money to fix a house or to do work on your house, and you want to spend it on a pool, on a jacuzzi, and all that stuff, when really you have an issue with the plumbing. So maybe you want to fix the plumbing and the ceiling first, which are not the biggest things. And when people walk into your house, like, whoa, look at that killer plumbing, dude. Like, no, like, it's still a necessity to get it done because you don't want to run into that issue down the road, which is we've had those quote unquote leaks, if you will, where guys get hurt and your weaknesses are exposed. So that's
Not
a pretty
sure.
good analogy, but you know what I mean.
100%.
Yeah, that's a fact. But either way, I'm excited for the season, and I just can't wait for real baseball games to be played. I'm trying to go to opening day. I don't have tickets yet, but I'm definitely looking into it. Are you going to opening day or?
I'll be there.
You'll be there, yeah. Yeah. I'm definitely looking into tickets. I'm currently just searching the market just for the best. I usually wait till like maybe a week or two before, because sometimes people are desperate and they're trying to get rid of the tickets. So, but I'll probably end up being there because opening day is just such a great time out in a day game out in the field, first time smelling the grass. There's like nothing better.
Just
So
walk in the park
definitely,
and smell the food.
Quintet.
Like you smell the
yeah.
ballpark food when you walk in. It's like,
Didn't they
oh,
start?
Bro,
it's
City
great.
Fields by far got the best food in baseball.
Oh,
By
yeah.
That's for
far.
sure.
Because I've been to like 13 now, because that's one of my goals, is to go to every stadium and watch the Mets play. And so far, I haven't seen one that has the type of things that City Field has. We easily have the best food in baseball. All right, so I want to talk to you a little bit about something that I also saw on your Instagram page. So you recreated a song for the SMY theme song, right? You recreated the SMY theme song, and SMY actually played it on their show.
Yeah.
That's incredible. That's awesome. How did that happen? Like, how did they find your song? Like, did you send it to them?
I didn't send it to. So I posted. It's crazy. So wow. Okay, let's backtrack. I was thinking about doing it, and I just had the idea because you know what? Like I do a lot of music content. So like baseball is back. I have to do something baseball related. So maybe it's like take me out to the ball game, but maybe that's just too cheesy. Maybe just do like the theme song because you turn on the Mets and like that's the thing. You sit back on your chair, your couch, and you're like, ah, yes, here comes Gary. Like that's when you kind of feel good. So I did it, posted it, and I was apprehensive to post it because when I was about to post it, the news broke that Justin Verlander was going to be on the IL. So I knew Twitter was going to be in a bit of a toxic place, or if I posted that, people would be like, "Oh, this is a bad time," and read the room, buddy. I was like, "Oh, I don't know if this is going to be the right time, but you know what? I'll just do it anyway." So
Yeah.
I did. And I had a few of my friends who like reshared it and reposted it, and I was at a rehearsal that night, and next to me, I had to put my phone like I had to turn it off because it just kept on buzzing, like just notification, follow, like, retweet, quote tweet. I'm like, whoa, okay, something is going off. So I just put my phone away. And that night I was like, okay, I had about a few hundred notifications. Then the next day, I'm driving around and like my phone, like I had to really just like literally put it away because it just wouldn't stop buzzing. And all of a sudden my sister calls me and she was like, Jordan, I'm like, okay, do you know something that I don't? Like, what's happening right now? And she said, oh, because SNY reposted it on Twitter and Instagram and Facebook. I'm like, that explains all the notifications.
Yeah.
But
Wow.
it was crazy. And then a couple hours later, they messaged me like, can we play it on SNY? I'm like, yes. Because like as a kid, when I was in elementary school and I wasn't staying up that late, I watched Sports Night first thing in the morning to watch what happened with the Mets,
Yep.
especially when they're on the West Coast.
Mm-hmm.
They're playing at 10. I was in bed by 9:30, so I wasn't watching those games. So to be able to wake up, I watched Sports Night first thing, so to then have like my video just be on there, I was like, wow,
So cool, man.
that's pretty
Bro,
cool.
that's incredible.
Really cool.
No,
Yeah.
that's so sick, bro. That's good for you, man.
Yeah.
Congratulations. I saw that. I was like, oh damn, like he had his, and I probably saw it because I watch Sports Night all the time. I just don't remember.
Mhm.
I definitely probably saw that episode, and that's incredible, bro. Just to have your, a jingle or a song that you made just be on the show, especially a show that we've been watching since we were kids, is just incredible, man. And that's something special.
Yeah, for sure.
Definitely.
Yeah. That was
All
crazy.
right. All right. So Jordan, I want to play a game with you. All right, since you are a musician, and we're gonna. Well, before I do this, actually, so you are a musician, right? What is your favorite genre? Like, what would you say your favorite genre would be?
That's an impossible question. Like,
So
I love all
everything.
music. That's the
There you
thing
go.
because it's funny when I'm in the car and if I'm driving with someone, I just warn them in advance. Like this is gonna be the most random playlist you're gonna have. It's gonna
Yeah.
be
Okay.
pop.
I like
It's gonna
that.
be then jazz and gospel, then musical theater, and then classical, and then jazz. I'm all over the place. But
That's
I
awesome.
love it all. But
That's awesome. Do you
I don't
have?
have a favorite. I just love good music.
So yeah. So you're probably not gonna have a question to. You're probably not gonna have an answer to this one either. But in a range, is there a artist that you grew up like, all right, like I want to be like this person when you were getting into music? Like this is somebody that I really look up to and I want to be like this person.
Oh,
And that's a
I
hard
mean,
one
I
too.
feel like I just yeah, these are the tough
Yeah.
questions. There are so many that I've been inspired by. I think for me, like I've loved. I mean, I grew up on Stevie Wonder and Michael Jackson, like just like the old school stuff. Um, yeah, I mean more current. I love Charlie Puth. I love if you've heard of Jacob Collier, those people because they're very technical. Like I like artists that are very. I love their songs, but they're also very creative and very like musical.
Yeah.
Like they have a
Mm-hmm.
musical side to them that you can kind of just hear within their music. So it's like, whoa, like I see what you did there, and it's different than like your standard pop music that you hear on the radio, where it's kind of just the same
Definitely.
standard stuff. Which I'm not bashing it, but it's just that's the reality where you have stuff where it's like, okay, this is the same progression I've heard on 27 other songs. So but to be able to hear different things, and as that's what I like to do within my music, is to not be too direct or to be like too predictable musically speaking, if that makes sense, to add certain things, whether that's different chords or hitting low notes or whatnot, like to do
Yeah.
just random things that are just technically musical, that for a listener they can listen to it and maybe they don't catch it, but to like a musician they're like, oh, I see what you did there.
Yeah, no, for
That's
sure.
a fact. That's a
Yeah.
fact. All right, one more question before I get to this game. Other than your own, so not your own music, if
Right.
you were a hitter about to hit a jack or a closer about to come in and do your best Edwin Diaz entrance, what song are you either walking up to or are you coming out the
Oh
bullpen
boy.
to?
Oh boy. uh so okay, I feel like if I were a closer, I'd have to walk out to something that makes me feel like I am the man and there's nobody stopping me. And I gotta have to have something that kind of gets me in that headspace of like, yeah, like get out of my way, like I'm coming. So I has to. Oh man, gosh, that's a great question. Um, whew.
For the record, I've been asked this question before and agreed. It's like such a hard question. Like I
Really
feel
hard.
like
It really
if
is.
yeah, I feel like if I was in that situation where I was a closer, I would put so much thought into this. Like I
Me
would
too.
want to be like one of the best entrances, kind of like how Narco is. I'm sure some of these people, when they come up with their
Yeah.
song, they don't really put thought into it, and then it becomes one of the greatest of all time, greatest entrances. But yeah, so
Yeah.
what would you choose?
Man. Okay. I would say if I were pitching, I would do. Oh gosh, this is like so hard. I think for the sake of just giving an, because I'm gonna be thinking about this too. I'm gonna just think of like the
Yeah,
right one. Well, after this is over, but
yeah. So
okay.
if for the record, if you come up with a better one throughout the rest of the show, just bring it on.
Bring it on, right?
Just let us know.
Um, I think. Oh, all right. If I were okay, I'll do hitting first. If I were hitting, I would probably do. Oh, see, would it count if it's because it's not mine, but I'm in a band? So if it's one of their, like one of our
Yeah, yeah,
songs,
yeah,
would
that's
that still
fine. Yeah,
count?
of course. Yeah, no doubt.
Okay, because we have a song called "Stomping on the Devil," where it's like a very like rocky, very just aggressive song. So if I got into that headspace of like get out of my way, like I'm stomping on like I would be in that like head zone of like, oh boy, like you're mine. Like I would probably be. I could think I can go both ways with that because then there's like, a guitar solo too, and like crazy drums and all that stuff. That's
And
my
this is
answer
your
for that.
band? Like you're in this
Yes,
band?
correct. Yes.
Send that to me when you get a chance because
Yeah.
I'll definitely check that because that's like my type of
Yeah.
music.
Okay.
Yeah, that's like actually my type of music. So definitely send that to me. I'll
Okay.
definitely check that out. That's
All
awesome.
right. Yeah.
That's, do you have one if you'll be a closer? It's like if you were gonna be a closer.
You're killing the guy, man.
I know I'm killing you. All right, you know what? You know
I'm
what?
I'm such an intentional person, so that's like I'm
Yeah.
really like thinking like in
Yeah,
detail.
you don't want to just throw something out there. That makes sense. No doubt. All right,
Yeah.
well, if you
Like
think about
yeah.
something, just let me know. Let me know.
Okay.
All right, cool. I'd probably go with if I had to choose one. See, Enter Sandman is one of my favorite entrances of all time. When Wagner did
Hmm.
it, Now, obviously, I don't care what's going on over there in the Bronx. I know he did it first. I don't care about all that. I'm talking about when Wagner was coming out because those were the games I was at.
Right.
But I feel like I would have to go with a Metallica song as well, but I wouldn't go with Enter Sandman because I want to be different. So I feel like I would probably
I
go
would
with
probably.
like Ride the Lightning from Metallica or something like that.
Yeah, I would
Okay.
probably do like an Iron Maiden song, "Hallowed by Thy Name." I think would be a sick entrance. Something like with like powerful and like a good beat, you know. But yeah, it's a tough question. It's really a tough question.
Yeah. All right, so I want to play this game. So we are doing closer entrances, keep 5, cut 5 with Jordan Simpson. So you're gonna have these 10 different closer entrances to choose from, and you're gonna go in order. You're gonna say, all right, I'm gonna keep this one, I'm gonna cut this one, I'm gonna keep this one, I'm gonna cut this one. And you're just gonna go down the list in order of which one you're gonna keep, then you're gonna cut one. You're gonna keep one until you finish them all. All right. Now you have the list that I gave you.
I do.
It should be on the Instagram. All right.
Gotcha. I got it.
All right, perfect. So you're just gonna go in any order. It doesn't have to be, down the list of the order I gave you. And you're just gonna say keep, then you're gonna say cut, keep, cut, and just in that order. All right.
And
So
I'll
what do we
say the
got?
name of the song too.
Yeah, you can say the name of the song too.
Okay. So the most obvious keep is Narco.
Yeah, there you go. I knew that was gonna be first.
Get that out of the way.
Get that out of the way.
Okay, yeah, get that out of the way.
If somebody says no to that one, you have to get checked out.
Yeah.
But that one's gonna stay. I'm gonna cut Zanza Carudo. Yeah.
Familiar.
I feel
okay.
like I've had good memories with him, but not all good memories with him. And
That's a great song, though.
it's a great song, but for a party, not a closer coming in. Like I
Yeah.
feel like for a closer, like I feel like you could do a bit better than that. But that's my taste. Nothing against that's you. That's do you.
Exactly. It's whatever you like.
I'm gonna say Thunderstruck. JJ puts respect. I'll keep that one.
That
I
was
think
a
you
cool
have
one.
the whole crowd. The crowd's going to get into that too. I think when you
That
have
was a
crowd
cool one.
participation, whether it's a hitter or pitcher, like participation, that adds to the vibe 100%.
Yeah, and I remember they used to put like thunderbolts on the screen and stuff. That was pretty cool.
Yeah,
that was a pretty cool one.
So that one I'm gonna keep. I'm gonna keep Wild Thing. Rick Vaughn, Mitch Williams, because that fits them. I feel like if you have a song that fits you, that always works.
Yeah, no, for sure. I think that's a great song.
Yeah, you have to roll with it. I think
Definitely.
that definitely works for him. So I'm gonna cut, and I'm gonna mess up this pronunciation. El incomprendido.
Oh yeah.
Maybe
Yeah, trust me, I can't say it either. Don't worry.
Okay.
So Joan Duran, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that
Good song.
entrance.
Yeah.
So the thing about that entrance is, I think that's one of the most underrated entrances actually in baseball, because SNY is actually the ones that actually hyped it up when they were playing the Mets. SNY broadcast it, and it starts off with like the Undertaker's like theme song, and then like the lights like completely shut off. It looked like a concert. And then the dude comes out, and then it switches to the Spanish song. And it, in my opinion, it's one of the most underrated ones in baseball. But there are a lot of hard ones to choose from here, so it would be a give and go with me as well.
I think the production does add to it. Like if you're talking about the song itself, I would cut it. But the production of that one, like I saw that too. Like that's when you have the lights involved, that's when you get everyone involved. So it's like it could be, Baby Shark, and fans will get into it if they're the creators.
Exactly. So, no, you're right.
That would be well. So I did keep Narco, Enter Sandman. Did I say that one yet?
No, you didn't say that yet.
Oh, I'm keeping that one.
Okay, keeping Enter Sandman. Yeah, that's a great one. I can't cut that one. Yeah.
So
great
I
one.
keep. Okay. So how many keeps do I have? I have 1, 2, 3.
So Yeah, so you have 5 keeps that you're able to do. You kept so far. You kept Narco, you kept Enter Sandman, you
Yeah.
kept Rick Vaughn Wild Thing,
Yeah.
and you kept JJ Putz. Those are your keeps so
Gotcha.
far.
Huh. So then I'm gonna. Okay. I'm going to do a keep and then an honorable mention because I respect. I'm gonna keep "Welcome to the Jungle." That's a
All right.
great song.
Great
Yeah,
song.
great
But
song.
honorable mention to Craig Kimbrell because that's just awesome. It's so anticlimactic, but I just love it. Like that's
yeah,
a lot of respect for that, just to be
yeah.
able to come out. Yeah.
I don't know if it's true or not, but I feel like I heard something about he did it for his daughter or like
Yeah, I believe so too. Yeah.
yeah, something like that, something along those lines. Like he knows somebody who's obviously a child and loves that song and did it for that person. I think I heard something
Yeah,
like that. Yeah.
that that's cool. Yeah, like what about I forgot who the hitter was. Somebody on the Braves, I think. What came out to or the hitter? What came out to Baby Shark? And all the fans went crazy.
Yeah, they were going. They
Like
were
yeah, it's
Gerardo
doing
cool
like,
when they
Parra.
come out to
Yeah,
these kids
Gerardo
songs
Parra.
sometimes. But
Yeah.
yeah,
yeah.
Get creative with those walk-up songs. Fans will get into it.
yeah, no, for sure.
Oh
All
boy.
right, so we have Narco as a keep. We have Enter
Yeah.
Sandman as a keep. We have Wild Thing as a keep. We have Welcome to the Jungle, and we have Thunderstruck. Actually, all your keeps are gone. So now all you have is
But yeah,
the yeah yeah all keep yeah. I think you did two keeps in a row, which is fine. So that means you're gonna have to cut Grant Bow for 1, and you're gonna have to cut Trevor Hoffman, Hell's Bells.
that's a
Okay, and
tough
that's a
cut.
wrap. That's a
That's a
tough
tough
one.
cut.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a tough one. Yeah, if you actually look at the list of like entrances, that's actually always number one. That's always
That's
the
a
number one
It's
on
always up there.
everybody. Yeah, on
that's a tough
everybody's
It's
on.
cut.
always up
Yeah,
there.
yeah. That so the Trevor Hoffman Hell's Bells. There was something I'm not gonna lie. Every time I watch that one, that it like I actually get chills, just how I get when Narco comes out, and that's not even my player. But
Right.
yeah, I just feel like that's such a tough entrance. It's like such a like like he's coming in and like it's over. You know what I mean? But it also has to do with who the person is. Trevor
Yeah.
Hoffman.
I
Coming
think
into the song.
that's it's tough, but I think that's also a good trend. Hopefully, that becomes a trend in baseball where your closer has like that entrance where it's like, okay,
I agree.
he's coming in because the fans will love it, and obviously you hope that they don't blow a save, but hopefully if all goes well, that like they just come in and it's a whole thing. Because like I think teams can act like it doesn't get into their heads, but I feel like it also definitely can. Like if you're the opposition and you just hear the trumpets, you're like, oh boy, here we go.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Because like Diaz, because how dominant Diaz is, like you just know that like your chances are like 1% against him. So it's like that kind of yeah. But I think that should definitely be a thing where just across baseball. And listen, if you're like a team that doesn't have a closer, you're kind of just putting things together. Then maybe not. But like if you're a team that with like a bona fide closer, whether it's Diaz or you go across the league, just like whether it's Class A or Durant, like when you have that guy coming in, and you're like, okay, here he comes, like to have something with the lights and the fans get into it, like yeah, that's a way to grow the game because it goes
Yeah,
viral with
for
that
sure.
stuff
Totally
too.
agree.
And
I
I
totally
hope the
agree.
Mets. Yeah, I hope the Mets do more of like I see other teams around the league. The Braves are famous for doing this, of like flickering the lights when they come out and stuff. Like they should do. They should play around with that more,
I
and
think
like
if
make
they're
it
ever
more
an
of like a
advanced team,
crazy
they
atmosphere.
definitely will be doing the lights. So
I can't agree more. I can't agree more, dude. Stuff like that is what makes people see it. It makes people want to come. You know, and can I be honest about something? And I
yeah,
talked about this actually with the Amazing Met Zone. Baseball's like not the same as it once was when it comes to popularity. I'm sure you know that. It's really not, dude. Like it's not. And the reason I'm seeing it is because I'm a teacher now, and
Mm-hmm.
none of my kids even know the game, dude. Like they don't know the game. I have to explain it to them. I have to teach it to them, and I'm trying to educate my kids on baseball in the worst way, so bad. And I'm not gonna lie, I actually got touched last week because all my kids were asking to play. They were like, "Can we do baseball this year? Can we do baseball this year?" Last year, when I brought up the fact that we were going to do baseball, they flipped at me. They were like, "Baseball? Who watches baseball? That's a Spanish sport." That's what they were telling me. That's a Spanish sport. I'm like, "Yo, what are you guys talking about?" I was like, well, "You guys have no idea what you're saying right now." And now they're open to the idea of learning because I took them to a Met game last year, which was incredible. They had like this whole thing where the party patrol came up to the schools. They were throwing them shirts. I actually had a kid come up to me
It
and go,
was
"Joe,
it was the Rays game. It was the Denver Rays game that you
that
brought your
was the
kids
one.
to.
That was the one." And it's crazy because I thought I was going to such a bad game. I was like, "Damn, bro, my kids are gonna see such a whack game." It's Denny Reyes or Strider. Denny Reyes gave up like 5 runs in the first inning, and I was like, "Damn, bro!" And Strider's pitching. My kids are gonna see us score nothing, and we scored like 4 in the first to make it 5-4, and it actually was a really good game. The final
It was a
score was like
great game.
9-8. Yeah,
It
you
came
know, it
down.
was,
It came down to Beatty at the end. Yeah, I
and I don't
remember
know
that.
if you remember. I don't know if you remember, but I was very excited because Scherzer was supposed to pitch that game, but Scherzer did not pitch that game. Do you remember why? Do you remember?
But Scherzer,
So
I don't remember. Oh, is
you
that when
guys
he
don't
got
remember?
suspended?
Yes, he got
Yeah,
suspended for the whole pine tar stuff. Remember?
Oh,
yeah,
And that's why Denny Reyes had to pitch that game.
yeah. You're right. You're right. You're right.
That was why I was like, "Damn, bro, we were about to see Scherzer, and then Denny Reyes had to pitch because he got suspended because of that whole pine tar situation."
Oh,
But back to
Somebody commented, Hussein Ahmed. I was inspired by the podcast to watch baseball, and I like it now. Even watching Yankees and Tigers game today, and the
that's
Mets
my
and
boy
Astros.
Hussein.
Yeah, he goes. I'm a
Yep,
former student of Joe's.
yep, that's my boy Hussein. He's a former student of mine. Yeah,
That's
he
cool.
graduated like 3 years ago. He started to watch the podcast, and he started every time he writes to me, I'm like, "Yo, that's my man Hussein, bro." Like, I
Well,
want more people to be like that because baseball is just like it's just football has overtaken baseball like crazy. If we're being
it's
honest here,
you know what it is.
baseball.
Yeah, the new people like the Gen Z they're look, baseball is a slow moving sport. It's not like basketball. It's not like It's not like football, but it's such a like I wish kids now would be more into it. They're just not. They want to see that fast pace. They want to see the soccer and football and basketball back and forth. They don't have the attention span for baseball. I feel like
But here's the
it.
thing. Here's the thing. Going back to the point what I was originally saying, and to what Jordan was saying before, if you got the fans getting into it like that with the closer going absolutely nuts, there's this whole entrance when the closer comes in, and you have live people going crazy at the games, that could change it a lot. Like you saw the World Baseball Classic, you saw the other countries, you saw what they made us look like shame, like our audience.
Mm-hmm.
I think
Like
Taiwan or one of the
yeah, they
countries.
were going nuts, and Steve actually tweeted saying, we got to bring that to City Field. We have to bring that kind of energy to City Field. The live fans, the way fans act, it makes a difference. I went to the Dominican series. You remember we had the Dominican series at City Field this year. I was there. I went to one of the games because I wanted to go check it out. I heard the fans really get into those games, and I knew a few players like Jonathan VR was playing. I knew a few guys, but I really wanted to go check out the atmosphere and the way the fans acted, dude. There was nothing happening in that game. The play of the game was a balk or a wild pitch. Sorry, a wild pitch. Like that was the play of the game. There was a no hitter going on in like the last inning, and on like a wild pitch, the people went absolutely nuts. Like they just hit like a game tying home run in the ninth inning. Like the fan environment and atmosphere was so lively, it blew what I see at baseball games, unless you're at a big game, like an opening day or a Mets versus Yankees or a playoff game. But a random game, you don't get stuff like that. Now, the thing is, there are a lot of baseball games. There's 162. Everybody ain't going to all of them except for diehards. Like I'm at a lot of them. I'm sure you're at a lot of them. But
Right.
that's the thing. Like my goal and what I want is for baseball to just get back to how it was in the '90s, dude, in the 90s when like there was a World Series going on, I feel like I would walk by every house and you'll see it on in the TV. You'll see it
Not
through the screen on the
even
TV.
the early 2000s, it was like that. Like
Yeah.
2004, 5, 6, up until like I would say like even like 2010. But like recently, man, it's just like
Yeah, and I
no.
want baseball to get back to that, man. Like I don't know what happened. Like the
Yeah,
90s baseball was everything. In schools, that's all we talked about. Now, I don't know if I went to a different school where it was just a baseball school, but everybody was talking about baseball. What happened in the game yesterday? What happened in this? Dude, when Shohei Ohtani got his $700 million deal, I didn't hear one person talk about it in my school, and none of my kids even know who that is. I'm like, you don't know who Shohei Ohtani is? That's like the LeBron James of baseball. They're like, oh, that's why we don't know him. He plays baseball. I'm like, duh. And now, I'm like, like if LeBron James or Stephen Curry or, going to football, Patrick Mahomes went to another team and signed this gigantic deal, the whole world would know about it. But you have Shohei signing this $700 million deal, and I feel like no one was talking about it.
yeah,
And it upsets me, like it really does, because this is my life, this is my passion, and it just doesn't sit well with me, that kind of stuff, because baseball back when I was a kid was everything to so many people, and I feel like it's still up, like we're never going to take baseball down, like it's still up, it'll always be up, but unfortunately there's sports that are crawling the ranks to pass it now, and I don't know what happened, like you know
Yeah, it's just a sad state that it's in, and that's why you want it to be an experience. I think too. Like that's the where fans see the games, and you want to be like I when Jacob Degrom was pitching, it was like an event where each starter field was
Definitely.
packed, and you knew that if you were going there, you had a chance to see history. And even though like you know, you may not, you can see history any day, but it's not a guarantee. But at least just to
Mm-hmm.
have that feeling of you never like you want to be a part of what's going on. When the Mets get on a hot streak, you want to be there, and the energy is there because like the vibes are high, everything's feeling good, and it's
100%.
an event where you want to be there. But I think also when you're depending on who you are, what your team is, and also when you're how things are kind of structured, where you have teams that are blowing out of the division, like they run away with it, whether it's Braves or if it's the Dodgers. So it's like fans may go, but it's not like they're hanging on to every single pitch because they have the thing clinched by August or beginning of September. So there's no urgency on that front. If you're a team going down the stretch and you're kind of like you're pushing your way in, like that's a moment where you're in a stretch run, but not every team has that, or some teams maybe are out of it, and then you try to have, you know, get your four hot dogs and four drinks and four sodas for $4. I don't know, but those crazy cheap
Mm-hmm.
specials to try to get fans in. But you want to like fans when you go to concerts, even like people make it a point like I have to see Elton John on his farewell tour. I have to see Billy Joel when he's here. I have to see this artist because it's an event. But I think just given the structure of baseball, it being every single day, it makes it harder. But at the same time, I think there are definitely things that you can do where you want to be a part of something. You want to be able to feel that experience, and like you do what you can. But I think it's definitely something that I think baseball as a whole has been trying to do. But I think also really just needs to lean into and look across all sports where listen, it's not we're gonna have a Taylor Swift situation where every single game where somebody's dating some top celebrity and then everybody's gonna be like it's that doesn't happen all the time. But at least where you have some kind of bigger interest in the game. And like I know I've heard people say, "Oh, what if you had it where it was more storyline based?" So then people would watch. Whereas when so it says, "Oh, look what Ronald Acuna said. Oh, the Mets gonna fight back." I don't know. That feels very WWE kind of vibe.
yeah,
Yeah.
But I feel like at least having something where it's you want to tune in because I want to tune in because I love the Mets and I love baseball. Like that's just
Exactly.
why I watch.
yeah,
But to an
100%.
average viewer, why would they watch? And I think that's where you have to think of it too. If you're MLB, if you're just the regional sports networks, like what are the ways that you can get fans engaged? Like we're beyond lucky to have the crew that we have because at least if you're down 10-1, you're going to hear Gary, Keith, and Ron go on so many different tangents. You don't know where they're going to go, and it's fun to watch.
No,
But
you're so on point with that.
The
Oh
best
my
crew in
god.
baseball. The
That's
best
why
crew
I
in
always
baseball.
watch every single, because you never
Yo.
know when Keith's going to say something unhinged because he's just tired and wants
Bro.
to get back to his home. So that's
Dude.
where you have all these different things where you never know.
That is
But I
so
think
funny.
but like you know what I'm trying to say though. Like at least just having some kind of reason why fans want to watch and to make it more of a general appeal to kind of break the stereotype of baseball as a long sport. Okay, well, but it's gotten a lot faster. So, you know, you can get out of Citi Field by 9:45 on a weekday instead of 10:30, 10:45 when you have work the next day. So at least there's different things here and there that are making a big difference. But I just think that's the kind of thing where, especially now with the publicity with the bad uniforms, it's like, come on, guys. Like, I love that you're in the headlines, but not for the uniforms. There's so many other things that you could be.
They're so bad.
Right? Like there's just so many things. Like you know, at one point, like yes, people will say, "Oh, all publicity is good publicity." Not all the time, though.
No,
all
not
the time.
that. You can't have that kind of
It's a
publicity. People are
joke
gonna make
how
fun of you.
bad they are. So
Yeah.
it's, I don't know. Just yeah, I want to
No,
go to
yeah,
sports. That's the
you're right.
goal.
You know what I
They gotta
love?
do
And
something.
you know what I love? I love the mic'd up situations.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
I
what
really
made
do.
it interesting. Yeah.
I really do. I love them. And what really drove me to them was we all know and we all love, and I respect this man so much after watching it. But the Terry Collins situation with Noah Syndergaard, after seeing that, I was like, damn, we need more of this. Like, this is awesome. Like, that
Well,
gets out.
you know
The
what?
average viewer will be like, oh shit, like, damn, like this is what they be doing in baseball. Like, even without that, just there was a All-Star game, either last year or the year before, and it was Nestor Cortez pitching to his catcher Trevino in the All-Star game. And I remember they were both mic'd up, and not mic'd up where they were talking, because I don't think that, you know, in the All-Star game it's whatever. I think it's cool during the All-Star game where they're talking to the booth, but during the game, no. But having like some kind of mic where they're mic'd up during the game, live play, and hearing just their combos to each other, I thought it was incredible. I thought it was one of the best things I've ever seen, because as a baseball guy, like you see Nestor there, and he's like, all right, what are we going to do? What are we going to do? We're going to go slider, low and outside, fastball high. Like, and the catcher, Trevino, would be like, yeah, let's go outside. Let's go low and outside. Let's go low and outside. So then he would come and, you know, and you'll get to see him come low and outside with the glove, and then you'll get to see if he misses spot. I thought it was absolutely incredible, and I was like, we need more of something like this, because I'm always zoomed into the games, but I was never zoomed into the game like that. Like, I was actually watching the catcher, and I felt like I was part of the game. I felt like I was in the game, and I thought it was amazing. And I just think like stuff like that could definitely help.
No, for
And
sure.
I'm gonna have those camera angles that are the cameras that are in the umpire mask.
Oh,
so
the
you can see
best.
the pitch coming in.
Those are so cool.
Like just
Best.
little things like that just changes like just the perspective. So you're not watching the same view. You can get a different look at it. Whether it's like the mic'd up players or guys on the bench, like those things that kind of give fans just like a look into feeling like they're kind of in the game instead of just watching it. That there's something going on and that they're actually human. Like when they had I believe they had Pete mic'd up. This was like a couple years ago on Sunday Night Baseball, and he was just sitting there with his arm around Jeff, and they were just chatting back and forth. But they were just like literally just talking about anything. But
Yeah.
just to kind of just see them like relaxing during the game,
It's like
chatting.
it's like normal people.
It just felt like that this is cool because you see their personalities too, and there's so many personalities in baseball that I think that that's kind of something that the league needs to emphasize and to focus on in terms of just like, hey, I want to see this guy, because I mean everybody's different. You'll have guys that are very stoic, like DJ LeMay, who doesn't say a single word, but then you have other guys that are like, you know, Tatis, who's all flair and all those, you know, that you kind of just see those different elements. And some are jokesters, like when DeGrom. I mean, granted, he wasn't big in the media, but like he was a jokester, he was a prankster. So
He
you
was,
have little
always.
things where you see those personality quirks in people that, as a fan, you're like, ooh, I love that. Or I don't know. I mean, I know the Red Sox are having a documentary kind of thing going on now, or going into this year.
Yeah.
But like, fans love the behind the scenes stuff, even if you're not following
Definitely.
them in the clubhouse and whatnot. But just like having some kind of thing where it's like during BP or something where it was like in the bullpen during a game. Like just having that kind of thing in the dugout during the game from a pitcher during the off day. What is he thinking? Is he thinking along with the pitcher? Is he seeing something in the hitter's swings like, hey, he's throwing you the fastball up because you're not getting there, so make sure that you lay that off because he's not going to throw them in the strike. Like, little things like that where he kind of
Yeah.
brings you into the strategy and you're engaged instead of just sitting there watching. And the 0-2 swung on a missed strike 3, and the
Yeah.
batter, just to change the pace a bit.
Yeah. I just think baseball, like, in a way, they kind of do it to themselves, and it's like I don't think they're really good at marketing. I mean, like, you look at these guys in basketball; these guys who are not even good have more followers on Instagram than like Shohei Ohtani, which to me is like kind of crazy. And like a game is not accessible in today's world. Like, you need to have a Peacock subscription, you need to have an Apple subscription, you need to have cable to watch SNY. You
Yeah,
have
but
to
it's also
have
the same way a lot of other sports now, though. Football is getting crazy with that as well.
yeah.
So it's not
I
just
think it's
baseball. I know.
a little ridiculous. I mean, you need every subscription just to watch a baseball game.
But going off
Prime,
of the
Yankees
marketing,
Prime.
what you said about Shohei is so on point. That guy is the face of baseball and the best player I've ever seen in my lifetime. I've never seen somebody that could hit and pitch at such a high level like that. And I went to Citi Field last year to
It
Mets
was an
vs.
event.
Angels to see Shohei. Like, I went to see Shohei, even though my team is playing. I was like, I got to see Shohei. I've never seen the dude before. And you got to go see him. That's the type of player he is. And I feel like MLB does not market him well enough. Like the NBA, you'll see them posting LeBron everywhere. They post more about other players than they do Shohei. Now, is it the language barrier? I don't know. Because he doesn't speak, well, he's starting to speak a little bit now, but not as good as some other people. But they don't market our best player well enough. The guy's
There's
incredible. It's like,
there's no reason he shouldn't be as marketed as LeBron, and even I'll go as far as saying even like a Ronaldo. Like, yo, this guy is the best guy I've ever seen play baseball. I mean, he's literally the modern day Babe Ruth, and he doesn't get.
I mean, there was a point where you would say Jose Reyes, Derek Jeter, David Wright, Carlos Beltran, and anybody on the street would tell you, "Oh yeah, I know who they are." But like now, it's like Shohei.
Yeah, like
Who? It's like
exactly.
no, it's a fact. No, if you go up to somebody in the street and they're just the average person, they know baseball, but they're not a huge fan. Like, huge fans obviously don't know who Shohei is, but you're just a casual fan. I am like certain that they won't know who Shohei Ohtani is. Like, I'm very certain, and that's kind of sad. I know they'll know who LeBron is. I know they'll know who Patrick Mahomes is. Now, obviously, everybody knows who Kelsey is because of Taylor Swift.
Sure. Yeah.
Yeah, so that's just.
So what you're saying is we need Shohei to date Taylor Swift, and we're good.
I mean,
Well, no,
he's married.
Well, yeah, that was.
And all of us that he's married out of nowhere.
Yes,
Bro,
Shout out
that
to
was
Shohei.
wild. Did you hear what Mike Trout said?
What
No,
did he
what
say?
did he say?
Mike Trout's like, I gotta be honest, I didn't know he had a girlfriend.
I love that.
Yeah,
Honestly,
I love how
yeah.
people were
I
trolling
respect that a lot,
Ben.
but like the fact that even Trout didn't know, like that.
Yeah. Yo, my
People were
guy.
trolling,
Trout you could trust.
people were trolling Ben Verlander because like everybody says that like
Oh my god.
he like he's like in love with Shohei. People were saying I'm sorry because he's married. It's so funny.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
That's
What's a bit to
just,
Shohei?
and that's just the type of guy he is. And that's why
Right.
I love Shohei. I think he is such a good heart and such a humble man. Because when you have the skill that he does, let's be real, a lot of those guys are not humble. And Shohei is just such a humble dude. Doesn't act like he's better than anybody else. Is always helping people out. And the reason why I know this is because I see these behind the scene things that they put out every now and then. And he's just such a humbled guy. You know what I mean?
Right.
And he's always here helping each other out, helping others out, helping people out, no matter who you are. He's signing
I wish he
autographs
was
for
the Met.
fans. Like Barry Bonds, who was the greatest player I've seen other than Shohei growing up, was such a POS, bro. Like, I don't want to, say it, but he was like not a nice guy,
Understood.
like in any way, shape, or form. He was such a mean person. Never signed autographs because he felt like his autograph would be worth too much, which it would be. But Shohei's like a complete different person because of he's same type of guy, and in my opinion, better than Bonds because he does something that Bonds didn't do. He pitches, and he's just so humble, dude. And
he didn't
you
take
can't,
steroids.
of course, and you can't hate on the man. It's impossible. Such a good dude. Such a good dude. All right, Jordan. Hey, we're approaching the hour. So before we let you go, we appreciate you coming on the show. It means the world to us. And, keep doing what you're doing because your content is awesome. And like I said, my brother just put me onto it. I didn't know much about you guys. And now I followed. I looked at all your stuff. I followed you on all the platforms. And, I was actually going to Apple Music, checking out your music. And you're doing great, bro. Such great content. Great music, and like I told you earlier, I am a music person. I love music. I love everything about music. I've tried taking guitar lessons growing up. One of the hardest things I've ever tried to do in my entire life. I feel like it's something that you got to start young. I wanted to learn so bad to play the guitar, and it was just the hardest thing. Like, I was good at the beginning. The guy was like, "You ever played before?" I was like, "Does Guitar Hero count?" And he's like, "No." I'm like, "Yeah." I was like, that's literally what I was telling him. I'm like, "I've never played before." I don't know if he was like telling me that I'm like good for a beginner because he was trying to take my money. But once he got to like several chords instead of just going on 2 chords, I was like, "Bro, like this is like impossible."
You could play Smoke on the Water.
But
that was
Okay.
Yeah. So I was like, this is impossible. So I appreciate you and anybody that does what they do when it comes to music because it is really difficult. It's really difficult. All right. So, like I said, we're approaching the hour, so we are going to be closing this by you giving us what is your predictions for the Mets this season. Like, what is your predictions when it comes to standings?
unbiased prediction.
Unbiased, and with a record. The record.
Right.
And with the record.
Really?
Okay.
That laundry can do now.
All right. So just the team, or I'll do I'll do the general team. I'll do some specific standouts. So I think the team in general, I think the Mets are going to be. I think they're going to be 85 and 77.
So close to what I said.
I'd probably get a wild card too. I'll take it.
So I think they're going to be right there. I think it'll be between them and the Phil. I think the Phillies are going to be probably a couple games ahead of them in the wild card, just given how everything lays out. But I think the Mets might grab the last, maybe the second to last, but one of those last 2 wild card spots, depending on how things pan out with the other teams. Because the Diamondbacks are still good. I still like they have put together a sneaky good off season. So I think I think the Mets can get a wild card spot. Who knows what's going to happen?
Oh, that's what I want to hear.
But I do think that they definitely have a shot because I think they do have a lot of talent still here, and a lot of, I think, given what David Stearns has done, helps more bigger picture longevity wise to go through a whole season versus having the issue of one person goes down that you're kind of stuck. So I feel good with that. I think Pete's gonna hit 50 bombs.
I do too. I do. No, I do. I think he's gonna get in that range, high 40s to low 50s, definitely.
He's gonna hit 50 bombs. I think Marte is going to be back to his 2022, like around that. If he's batting even like 280, 285, he's gonna be back. And then I think between Vientos, this is gonna be my hot take. Between Vientos, Beatty, and Alvarez, we're going to get 65 to 70 home runs between the 3 of them.
There we go. That's what I want to hear.
Because I think Alvarez in 30, and then 20, 25 between Vientos and Beatty each. If Beatty hits 20, Vientos, who has wicked pop, if he gets reps and he gets going, I'm just saying.
If they get us, dude, yo, you're getting me excited, bro. If they get over 20 home runs each, right? And also depending on how their average is doing, whatever, that's huge for us. If that happens with those 2 players, like I told you, I think Alvarez is going to be fine. I think he'll get us close to 30. He also missed a month last year and almost hit 30 last year. Those 2 are huge. Huge. Everything else you said, I totally agree with. I believe is going to happen. Yeah. That I'm so uncertain about with those 2. I just don't know what to think of them yet, and that would be huge. Huge.
Yeah, Beatty has to lift the ball. He hits too many ground balls. He has to find a way to lift that ball, and I think he's fine.
Once
Yeah.
Beatty gets going, I feel good. I mean, Vientos, when he finally got consistent playing time, he had 6 home runs in a month. So if he gets
Mm-hmm.
consistent reps and he just has that leash and that comfort, he's going to run it. Like his power is just beyond natural. So I feel like he's just going to run into them. I don't
Yep.
really care as much about his average. I don't bat 200, but if he's batting like 240, 250, I can live with that if you're getting power because you've never gotten power out of the DH spot. Like we just haven't had that. So that's something
100%.
that
And
we haven't had.
even
To be
with
able to get that would be a huge game changer.
even with
So.
Alvarez, like
Yeah.
we're used to having Nito behind the plate, and all these guys who like are basically pitchers, like they're automatic outs almost. And then like Alvarez, as long last year he was he was as streaky as they come last year.
Yeah.
If he has to figure out how to be less streaky, he can easily hit 35 jacks.
I mean,
Like with his power,
his power is absurd. I was
it's
at the game
insane.
where when he hit his first major league home run. I was there. He hit. It was so loud. I dropped my phone.
Tank. Yeah.
That was
Tank.
against
I remember
the
that.
Nationals.
It was against the Nationals. He just crushed it, and I was like, "What just happened?"
Yeah,
The
a tank,
crack of the
bro.
bat was loud, and it wasn't packed at the stadium either, so it just reverberated at the whole entire place. Like it just cut. Man, that was special. But
Yeah, and that
I mean,
home
in
run
one,
that
what's
home
that?
run last year against the Rays, he killed that ball. That tying
Yeah.
home run in the
Yeah.
last inning.
When he hits home runs, they're no doubters, bro. They're no doubters. Like he doesn't hit a home run where you're like, all right, that might go out. His home runs are no doubters. Like his home runs are a thing of beauty.
The ones that just go over, you're like, how does he even get that out? Because
Yeah, how does he get those out? Agreed.
that out of there.
Agreed.
You could tell he loved the spotlight too. Like he hit some big home runs last year. He hit the home run against the Rays. Don't forget the one against the Diamondbacks against Chafin. He loves the spotlight, which I really like about him. I think he's going to be really good this year.
So my prediction was actually definitely. My prediction was actually 86 wins. So I was right there with you. My thing is, like you said, those two rookies. I think Alvarez. I'm putting Alvarez different because this is all my opinion, of course, based off of opinions. I think Alvarez is going to be fine. I hope he gets his average a little bit more up. But his power is just raw power. If those other two do what you were saying, that's everything to me. Huge, and that will be a huge part of our team. But other than that, there's one more very, 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 very important tool, and it's that starting pitching. Can they hold? Can they go deep into the games, especially holding on until Senga gets back? And that is everything for me. And we'll see what happens,
Severino.
Bro. But
like, I think Severino's gonna have a great year. I mean, he's a great.
He has
great
bounce
talent.
back. Yeah.
All
right, Jordan. Again, like I told you, we appreciate you. We appreciate you from coming on the show, and we will definitely be continuing checking out your stuff on Apple Music, wherever it's going on. And we appreciate you, bro. And hopefully we'll see you out at City this year.